Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ, where the final college football playoff rankings have been released. And with that, we finally have our 12-team playoff bracket. The biggest question heading into Selection Sunday was the committee going to put in SMU or Alabama for that final at-large bid? And they go ahead and put in SMU, who lost to Clemson in the ACC championship game. You see a look at how the rest of the bracket shakes out. You see Oregon, your Big Ten champs, as that #1 seed, followed by Georgia, Boise State, and Arizona State to round out the top 4 teams. We now welcome to the show our own Sportsline analyst, Mackenzie Brooks, for more on this, because Sportsline has actually released their simulation for how all of these games and all of the seeding and all the seeding matchups for the first round and second round and beyond are going to shake out. So let's go ahead and go through some of them. We begin with the first round, and I want to start with the game out in Columbus. Ohio State hosts Tennessee in this one. How does Sportsline have this playing out?
We love Texas here, right? I mean, Clemson proved that you don't necessarily need to be in the red zone to score on them. We saw that with SMU. Texas is a phenomenal team. Their ceiling is so high. They are so awesome between the 20s. It's just about that red zone efficiency that they don't have, and I think they will be able to get it. Now, the more interesting game here, Tennessee, Ohio State. Now, we only like Ohio State here because we have it at Ohio State, right? On a neutral site, we would like Tennessee, and especially in Tennessee, we would like Tennessee. So I know this isn't a betting segment, but that +7.5 for Tennessee, I think, is certainly worth taking a look at. Projected score just 27-25 for Ohio State. We love Tennessee's ground game. We're not loving the ground game for Ohio State right now with their injured offensive line. And we talk about the advantage of the cold, Now, these guys aren't all Ohio boys, right? They haven't necessarily played in the cold. And regular season, you're done by Thanksgiving, right? They don't play outside in Ohio State in December typically, or January, right? We're in warm weather bowl games. We're indoors. So it's not that big of an advantage to me. However, we do still like them. We make it a 2-point game, not an 8-point game like odds makers would, but we like Ohio State because this is at Ohio State. If we want to move down here as well, we go to SMU, Penn State. Our playoff darlings, SMU, they make it in. It was a bit of a sweat, but we're happy to see them here. This is like our 2 playoff darlings, honestly. This is like our 2 children of the Sportsline model, so it's really hard for us. But we do like Penn State. Jennings has gotten a little turnover prone. He's been fumbling the ball a bit. And again, Penn State just an objectively better roster. James Franklin has trouble with the top 5 teams in the country. SMU is not a top 5 team in the country, so give me Penn State there. Then Indiana, Notre Dame. Projected score here, 30-21, Notre Dame to edge out Indiana. We love the ground game again for Notre Dame. Between Love, between Price, between Leonard, like these guys are lethal on the ground. And I know Indiana, quote unquote, has a great run D, but who have they played? You know my feelings on that. So we get Notre Dame, Georgia there in the quarterfinals.
And now we're in the second round here.
Second round, Texas, Arizona State. Listen, I know that not everybody could stop Scatterboo again in that Ohio State or Iowa State game, but Texas, an SEC defense, they will know how to take care of him. So we have them going right past them. 37-15 will be the victory for Texas. Big smackdown in the Big 12. Listen, that 5 seed, you know how much I love it. What a great favorable spot. I've said it all year.
Works out perfectly.
Works out that way. We move down to the rematch of Ohio State, Oregon. We just have Oregon edging out Ohio State. Projected score 27-26. So again, Oregon, when we saw that clutch gene this past weekend when we were sitting there in person, Dylan Gabriel gets upgraded in the model for things like that. We don't trust Will Howard the same way there. So we like them to win. Then we go Penn State, Boise State, pretty simple stuff. Just as great as the 5 seed is that 6 seed, right? I know the Penn State isn't sunshine and rainbows all the time, but James Franklin can beat teams that are worse than him. And while they're technically the 3 seed, they're not a top 5 football team. And I don't think I need to explain to viewers at home why that is. So give me James Franklin. Yes.
Your own dogs.
I know, guys. This is showing my professional ability. My own model. Listen, yes, I promise. There's all these conspiracies that there's SEC bias in the model, okay? Let this be the first example. We have Notre Dame just beating Georgia 28-26. The thing about Georgia is, unless your name's Texas, you can run on them. They will let you run all over them. UMass ran all over them. Georgia Tech ran all over them. Something about Texas brings out the best in that Georgia defense. But again, Notre Dame, you have those 3 quarterbacks. The model loves big, strong quarterbacks that are mobile and that are comfortable playing deep into the playoffs. I think we like that with this Notre Dame team. So yes, unfortunately, we get the 6 versus 7 with Penn State, Notre Dame headed to the semifinal there.
All right, take us beyond this, because I'm curious curious to know the scores because you had Penn State crushing Boise State.
Yes.
Walk us through where we're at here in the semifinal round.
So Texas, Oregon, we do like Texas. Look, the model has loved Texas all year. And the model, it's not always about that end box score, right? The model sees this is the best offense and best defense in college football between the 20s. Regression to the mean for this Texas team is figure out how to get it done in the end zone. And I'm thinking red zone. And by the time they get here, they really should be able to execute that. So we have Texas winning this game 28-24. And then down here, Penn State, Notre Dame. We got Penn State. Again, this is not a top 5 team in Notre Dame. Give me James Franklin to get it done against teams worse than him. Tale as old as time. And then we end up, look what it is, the 5 seed and the 6 seed. And I should have a t-shirt by now that says the 5 seed and the 6 seed are better spots to be than the 1 seed. Everybody's national championship percentage chances go up when you go from that 1 to the 5. So we like Texas versus Penn State. Now, this is the first time we're going to see Penn State play a team that's better than them. And when they play a team better than them, Jordan, you know what happens.
Yes, I do.
They will lose this game.
Yeah. Okay, we do have them ultimately losing.
Yes,
and
just
Texas
by a field goal.
Just by, okay, so it's going to be close.
25-22.
Because you have them absolutely crushing all the other opponents. So that's
what they do, Jordan. They crush people worse than them. But the minute they see a Longhorn, nervous breakdown for James Franklin. The model doesn't exactly account for like the mental breakdowns with head coaches, but we do know what their record is against quality opponents that are better than them. So we're willing to bet that this is a Texas national champion.
Wow, that is going to be very interesting if this all plays out. All the what-if scenarios. My brain hurts. We just got back from
Indy.
We're just getting started. Brain hurts. Just got back from Indianapolis at the Big Ten championship game. So Nittany Lions fans upset they lost to Oregon, but ultimately
they're not.
You're going to the Natty, according to Sportsline.
This is the most James Franklin seed that you could possibly have. Cannot beat the teams ahead of him, but I'll be damned if he can't beat the teams below him. 5 and 6 seed is the money spot. Texas, they have shorter odds, the best odds to win the national championship, and that's after losing to Georgia, and they have an extra game to play, and they still have better odds. That tells you everything you need to know about the quality of this 5 and 6 seed and how successful you can be in this spot.
All right, the fun is just beginning. You can get more from Mackenzie and Sportsline. All of the best sports picks, latest odds on Sportsline right now. And when you use the promo code WINNERS, you can get 60% off right now off an annual plan.